Portugal's Assembly of the Republic has passed sweeping changes to the country's national law. The headline change? Doubling the wait for citizenship from 5 years to 10. But 3 more changes buried in the text have not grabbed any headlines and could hurt legal residents, foreign investors, and even newborn children far worse. In this video, we're sharing Lisbon-based IMI Pro David Bonellie's analysis of all 4 changes and what they mean for you, whether you hold the golden visa already or have had your eye on Portugal as an investment destination. Let's first start with what happened last month and what happens next. A product of a last-minute deal between the centre-right PSD and the far-right Chega party, Portugal's new nationality bill passed 152 to 64, clearing the 2/3 threshold required for organic legislation in Portugal. The decree now sits on the desk of President António José Seguro, a Socialist Party-affiliated figure who can sign it, veto it, or refer it to the Constitutional Court, where it's already been once in the last year. Bonellie does not dispute the underlying motivations of the politicians who've proposed changes. He agrees that Portugal's historically generous citizenship regime had drifted away from genuine links and integration, and that new citizens should demonstrate ties to the country. Where he breaks with the lawmakers is on the solution. In his view, the new law gets the diagnosis right and the cure wrong. Bonellie's 4th concern is a change to Portugal's Jus Soli rules, which govern citizenship for children born on Portuguese soil. Under the old law, a child born in Portugal to foreign parents acquired citizenship at birth, as long as one parent had held legal residency for 1 year, sometimes even less. The new law extends that requirement to 5 years. The practical consequence is what Bonellie zeroes in on. He gives the example of 2 siblings born in the same Portuguese hospital. The older child, born 18 months after the parents arrive, qualifies for citizenship at birth. The younger child, born 3 years later, when the parents have been in Portugal for 4.5 years, does not. Same parents, same hospital, different passports. Bonellie calls this absurd. His proposed fix is straightforward. If one child has already qualified, every subsequent child born to the same parent should automatically qualify too. That would preserve family unity without unwinding the broader policy goal. The current text of the law contains no such caveat. The 3rd change is technical, but its efforts compound everything else in this video. Until recently, the residency clock for citizenship purposes started on the date a resident filed their application. That mattered because Portugal's immigration agency, IMI, has well-documented processing delays up to 4 years. By the way, you can access exclusive data like this as an IMI sovereign. A 2024 amendment specifically accounted for those backlogs by letting the clock run during the wait. The new law, however, reverses that fix. The clock now starts only on the date a residence permit is actually issued, which can come months or even years after the application. As mentioned, right now, this is 4 or more years after an applicant submits their files. As Bonellie points out, this quietly extends the real-world wait by exactly the amount of time IMI takes to process the file. The official wait to citizenship qualification is 10 years, but the reality may be much longer. The residency requirement for naturalization rises from 5 years to 10 years for most people watching this video. Those who get a faster 7-year track to citizenship are citizens of EU member states and citizens of Community of Portuguese language countries: Angola, Brazil, Cape Verde, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Mozambique, Portugal, São Tomé and Príncipe, and Timor-Leste. Bonellie's argument is that lengthening the clock is a blunt instrument. It does not actively test integration, it only delays the prize. Under his alternative model, the gatekeeper would be permanent residency rather than naturalization. Temporary residents could apply for permanent residency after just 2 years, provided they pass an A2 level Portuguese language exam, a civics and history test, and demonstrate financial self-sufficiency. Golden visa holders and other highly qualified residents would receive permanent residency immediately upon approval, with 2 years to meet the same language and civics requirements. Failure to do so would reset their clock. That structure, Bonellie claims, front-loads integration. Applicants would know from day one that their status depends on learning the language and understanding the country and culture. Naturalization would then come after 5 years of holding permanent residency, conditional on a B1 language certificate and a refresher civics test. Twice the proof of integration, but roughly the same total time. Of course, all of these details raise a question you might be asking. If Portugal is no longer the fast path to European citizenship, where is? Our IMI Sovereigns community members get access to our citizenship catalogue, which maps the route to citizenship in every single one country on Earth. If Portugal is off the table, the catalogue will show you what isn't. Learn more at imidaily.com/IMI-sovereigns. Now, the final and most damaging change, in Bonellie's view, is the one most easily missed in the headlines. The new law contains no transitional protections and no grandfathering for existing legal residents. Thousands of people moved to Portugal under the old 5-year rule. They paid taxes, started businesses, enrolled their children in school, bought property, and contributed to the economy. They made every one of those decisions in reliance on settled Portuguese law. With the stroke of a pen, the goalposts moved. Their 5-year wait may become a 10-year wait if the president does not veto the bill. The rules they signed up for no longer exist. Bonellie argues this is the part that erodes trust in Portugal and damages the country's reputation as a stable, investor-friendly jurisdiction. The Socialist Party reported proposed transitional provisions to phase the new model in while protecting the legitimate expectations of existing residents. Those provisions were sidelined in the PSD-Chega deal and did not survive the final text. For golden visa investors who committed hundreds of thousands or even millions of euros on the basis of the old rules, this is the most brutal change. Not the 10-year wait by itself, but the fact that the wait was extended after they had already paid in. So, as we mentioned and covered earlier this year when the news broke, the decree is now pending President Seguro's signature. He has the option to veto, delay, or refer the law to the Constitutional Court, but the political coalition that passed the bill has the numbers to override most objections. Bonellie closes his analysis with a clear preference. Portugal does not need longer waiting periods. It needs tests of commitment. A permanent residency gateway built on language, civics, and history would, in his view, deliver the integration the lawmakers say they want without the collateral damage of retroactive rule changes. We are sharing his analysis because it raises questions every investor and prospective resident in Portugal is now asking. Whether the president signs vetoes or punts the bill to the Constitutional Court, the path that drew tens of thousands of people and, more importantly, billions of euros to Portugal over the last decade has changed. Portugal also dismantled its NHR special tax regime that drew many of those investors in the first place. You may now be looking at Turkey as your next destination. Why? Turkey has a direct citizenship by investment program, and President Erdogan just introduced a 20-year tax break to compete for talent and capital fleeing Dubai. We covered it all in the video on your screen now. If you find this kind of analysis useful, subscribe and turn on notifications. We cover stories like this the day they break.